Alright guys, to start off this video, the second part of our Pythagorean Theorem notes, just wanted to share something with you I thought was interesting. So here we go, a short little clip for you guys.
I'm going to go with the audience in this, and I'm going to say A, final answer B.
Oh, Ryan, the audience is not right. I'm sorry. It was 4 squared plus 3 squared is 16 plus 9 equals 25. I'm sorry, Ryan. Ryan, you sit right there. At least you got $1,000. That's something towards the car. Congratulations on that. You folks stay with us. We'll be right back with College Week, right?
Alright guys, so, where do you ever use math in the real world? Well, there's 15 grand right there that guy could have won if he knew that 3 squared plus 4 squared, 9 plus 16 gives you 25. So just, a little bit of a comedy there, but hopefully that gives you something there as well. Okay, now we're going to take a look back at, we are on our 9.2 Pythagorean Theorem notes that we just kind of stopped here at part B. So we're going to figure out C and D as well. We're going to keep moving forward, okay? So as we've been going through these, our first goal was to identify the x in our problem. Is it a leg or is it a hypotenuse? Okay, so the way I always try to look at it is find your hypotenuse first. In this case, your hypotenuse is your 25. So, oops, sorry about that. That means that our leg are on the outside. There's our leg and our leg. Okay, so x in this case is going to be a leg. If we take a look at our Pythagorean theorem, this can be represented by either A or B. Either way, you're fine. So I'm going to choose it to be A. If I plug it in here, x squared plus 24 squared equals my 25 squared is my hypotenuse. Okay, very good. Now, what we're going to do is take a look at our calculator, and we're going to square these numbers, 24 squared, 25 squared. So we get x squared plus 576 equals 625. Okay, now you'll notice that if your x is a leg as opposed to a hypotenuse, we have one extra step involved. I can't just square root both sides right away. I got to first get rid of this 576. So to do that, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. Okay, so 625 minus 576, we get 49. X squared equals 49. We are square rooting both sides. X equals 7. Okay? So, taking a look up here, all right, we are going to have our side lengths of 7, 24, 25. And you got to ask yourself, are these all positive integers? They indeed are. So this would be, yes, Pythagorean triple. Okay? Very good. Awesome. So, just one little side note as well, we talked about earlier in class, when you square root both sides of an equation, we end up getting plus or minus. The reason we've been sticking with positive for all of these, as we discussed in class, is you can't have a negative side length for geometry. So when we're dealing with this area, we want to keep things positive. That's why we're sticking with that. Okay? Over here, part D. 15, 20, and x. Again, identify your hypotenuse. It's up top here. All right? And your 15, your x, are your A and your B. So now I can take a look and say, here's my Pythagorean theorem again. 15 squared plus x squared equals 20 squared. 15 squared, again, if you need a little help with the calculator, it's perfectly fine. So let's see, 15 squared, 225 plus x squared equals 400 if I square 20. Just to show you guys here. Cool. Now, I want to get x squared by itself, extra step, subtract it over. X squared equals 400 minus 225 equals 175. Now I'm going to check myself. The square root of 175 is 13.2287. So obviously it's not a perfect square. So we got to break this down. So 175, okay, we can try looking through all of our perfect squares. Now again, if it looks like it's a multiple of 25, we know right away we can go to it. So we've got square root left, square root right. X equals root 25 times root 7. We can break that down. We get x equals 5 root 7. Okay? Very good. So our side lengths then are 5 root 7, comma 15, comma 20, Are they all positive integers? Well, this right here is rational, okay, because of the square root of 7, irrational. Therefore, it is going to be not a Pythagorean triple. No, not Pythagorean triple. Okay, very good. So there's pretty much an example of each kind you could run into. Let's take a look going forward. Okay, so find the area of the figure around your answer to the nearest tenth. All right, so the area of a triangle, all right, is A equals 1/2 base times height. Now your base, all right, we can almost kind of like rotate this triangle around. I'm going to do that to maybe make a better picture for you. Here's 3 inches. My hypotenuse here is 5 inches. So my base is 3. I need this height. I don't have it yet, so I'm going to have to do Pythagorean theorem. However, if you can recall, this is a Pythagorean triple, a 3 blank 5 triangle. Okay, so this would be a 3, 4, 5 triangle, right? Which is actually, ironically enough, the same exact setup as was on the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire question that I showed at the beginning of this video. So there's your example. So my area is going to be 1/2 base times height. My base is 3. My height is 4. All right, little mental math. What's half of 4? 2. 2 times 3 gives me 6 inches squared. All's good. Okay. So there we go. There's an example. We have our inches squared. We know we're good there. All's well. Okay, part B. Find the area of the figure around your answer to the nearest tenth. 10 is all the way down. 13 is my side lengths here. Okay, so we got to break this up. Okay, half of 10 gives me 5 foot, 5 foot. Because I need to find this length right in the middle. In order to do that, I had to separate it so that I have basically like one right triangle. Okay, 5x 13. We can do Pythagorean theorem here. Just to show you this really quickly. This is actually going to be another Pythagorean triple. It's a special one. 25 plus x squared equals 169. Subtract 25 over. 144. Square root both sides, 12. This is a 5, 12, 13 triangle. Okay, for Pythagorean triple. These are the two biggest ones. 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. You will be seeing that a lot the upcoming weeks. So the area of this particular triangle is 1/2 base times height. Your base is 10. I'm bringing the 10 back into it. And my height is all the way up 12. Okay, a little bit of mental math. Half of 10 is 5. 5 times 12 is 60 feet squared. Okay, so very good. There's a little bit of application with the area as well, kind of putting that together with Pythagorean theorem. Okay, awesome. We're going to go to the back side now. We have 3 last warm-up word problems to take a look at, and then you guys are home free. So number 3, solve around your answer to the nearest tenth. We are going to, for word problems, not break down perfect squares, but in fact use the calculator to help us out so we get exact decimals. Because in the real world, you don't typically go, oh, my television is a 12 and square root of 3 inches long wide screen. Like you normally say like 12.5, or you say whatever the decimal approximation would be. So part A, 48-inch widescreen television means that the measure along the diagonal is 48 inches. If the screen is a square, what are the dimensions of the length and the width? So we're going to draw ourselves a square. Here's my sweet TV that I just got. It's really cool. It's a square. Here's my diagonal, which is 48 inches. Which means if it's a square, all of my sides have to be the same. Okay? So what are the dimensions of the length and the width? Well, look what I have set up here. Every square, every side of it angle-wise is going to be a right angle. So I can go back to my Pythagorean theorem. The 48 is your hypotenuse. Okay? And these would be your legs. So we got x squared plus x squared equals 48 squared. All right, now, x squared plus x squared. How many x squareds do you have? I have 2 of them. I have 2 x squareds. Okay? Now 48 squared, I'm going to bring back my calculator for a second. Gives me 2,304, 2,304. Now before I square root both sides, all right, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So we get x squared equals 1,152. And lastly, square root both sides. X equals the square root of 1,152 1152 is 33.94. And because we're talking about the dimensions of our length and width for our television, it's inches. So as far as what's the length and the width over here, let's make a little side note. Length, 33.94 inches. And my width would be the same. Okay, awesome. We're good to go. Okay, so let's take a look here. We got enough time to finish these last two up. Part B, the doorway of the family room measures 6 foot 6 inches by 3 feet. What's the length of the diagonal of the doorway? Well, I'm going to draw my sweet door here. Okay, a little, there we go. Here's my diagonal. Now, it's 3 foot for your base, and then my height of it is 6 foot 6 inches. Now, I'm dealing with 2 units here. I got to convert them to the same unit. So if I want it to be in feet, think about what 6 inches is compared to 1 entire foot. It's half a foot. So I could write this as 6.5 feet. Okay? Just be careful. A common mistake I see here is to put 6.6, but 6 inches is half of a foot. All right, we'll call this x. Here's my right angle. Okay? Always drawing a picture helps you out. So we've got 3 squared plus 6.5 squared equals x squared. Now, 3 squared is 9. 6.5 squared, I don't know off the top of my head. Oop. Gives me 42.5. Combine them together. 51.25 equals x squared. Square root left, square root right. 7.1, I'm going to round up to 6. And we're talking about feet here. So 7.16 feet is the length of the diagonal of the doorway. Okay? Very good. All right, last one. You place a 10-foot ladder against the wall. Okay, if the base of the ladder is 3 feet from the wall, how high up the wall does the top of the ladder reach? Here's my building. Okay? Here's my ladder. Always draw pictures. Helps us out a lot. Okay? We have our cool building here. All right? Just chilling here. You have like King Kong hanging off the side over here. He's like climbing up top of it, going grrr. Yeah, I just like to draw pictures. All right, so 10-foot ladder against the wall. It is 3 feet from the wall. How high up is it? Okay, think about it. Here is your hypotenuse. Here's your leg. Here's your leg. So we've got x squared plus 3 squared equals 10 squared. And then x squared plus 9 equals 100. Subtract 9 over. Square root left, square root right. Okay, square root of 9, d1. Gives us an answer of 9.54 feet. Okay, which again makes sense because, you know, it should be a little smaller than my hypotenuse. When you're doing these problems, always think about the context of the problem. My end answer, my leg should never be higher than my hypotenuse. Same thing with back here for part B. My hypotenuse should be larger. It was. We're good. Okay. So that wraps up our Pythagorean Theorem notes. Hopefully this helped. Again, good luck. We're all counting on you.